All right, so some of your money. This one kind of straightforward. We kind of covered it before, but we specifically covered it last time. Does anyone have this translation? So it's kind of like, oh, go ahead. Maybe I was hearing my echo. So it's like if we're all of this is just a subject phrase. So we're just identifying something. So we start with that. There's like there's no there's no verb or anything. So see oniokupe. Okay, so pretty close, pretty close. Um that could be correct depending on the context. Like if you want to, and I'll just copy what you said there, Motu. So um okay, so we identified what it is, so we start with our O, and then we have some, and then we have we use our possessive. So our possessive is going to be in this case he said O, but that's kind of making it a O class thing. So money is, for the most part it's an A class. So you're right there with it. So some your money. So some of your money. So that would be the translation of it. And let me go back to our sheet. Might be easier to explain for myself if I go back to that. Where is it at? Okay, so remember on our worksheet, we're talking about your, right? So these are all singular possessives: mine, yours, his, her, and its. And this is the worksheet we have from last week. When we're done with this, I'll also post it in the chat in case anybody missed it. So we're focused on the your. All right. So our last character is going to be you. So our first one, we said some. So this one right here, remember, this is our singular and specific. That's the L. If we're going to say, so that would be like the, it's kind of like, well, singular and specific. I'll stick to that. If we're going to say like singular, non-specific, right? And then here's our plural non-specific. So if we were saying something like some, we would put our ni. And then if it's an A class thing like money, then we would say we put an A right there. If it was an O class thing like a house or a body part, remember that list that we had, then we would put O right there. And these two things, once you figure out if it's an A class or O class, they go together. I know this is real scientific. You could just memorize all of this stuff. And it's, native Samoan speakers don't actually learn this chart or nothing like that. But for us, this is just one method of learning it. So that's, how we're doing it here. So O, ni, ao, and then our noun is going to be tupe or kupe. So oniao kupe or oniao tupe. Did everyone see how we did that? All we did, we first just picked if it's singular or and specific, singular, non-specific, or if it's plural and non-specific. And then we just drop that down there. If is it A class or O class, we put that there. And then we just couple that together to come up with our O Niao Tupe. All right, so go back to, I guess we'll just go back and forth to this chart just in case anyone kind of feels lost by it. What about the boys' lesson? The boys' lesson. Another way to say that would be like, it is the boys' lesson, if that makes it a little any easier. So since there's no noun, I mean no verb or anything, we're just we say oh, and then okay, someone has something here. Ole le sonna aletama. Yep, great. So we'll break this down. Ole le sonna. So we have the lesson of the boy. So when you see like like what we have here, the boy's lesson, the Samoan way to say it in English would be like the lesson of the boy, the house of the lady, the business of the man or whatever. So that's kind of how you would translate these kind of possessions right here. So the boys lesson would be the lesson of the boys. So ole lesona a letama. And it's since the lesson, lesson is going to be an A class thing. It could be O class if you wanted to change in context and be poetic with it or something like that. But generally speaking, it's going to be an A class thing. A lesson is going to be an A class thing. All right, so ole lesona aletama. What about this is her purple house? So we added a little extra element in here with the adjective. So, but it's still all of this is a subject phrase. Anyone have this one? If not, then what do we start with at least? Subject phrase. Start with an O. And then anything else? Go ahead.
Lenge?
Oh yeah, we could go that route. Okay. Olenge. And what's after that? So we got our Lene. So our it is this. Olene. Yep. Olene mea. So like let me copy all of that. So Leshan said, oh, sorry, I erased your thing. So Olene mea, this thing is his purple house. Fale lanu viole. Yes, that's exactly one way to say it. If we're gonna use Lene, we could say that. So olene mea o lona fale viole. Lanu viole. So that's one way to say it. What's the other way to say it?
Can it be said as like ete lona fale lanu viola lena?
Say again, please.
Ete lona fale lanu viole lena?
Ete fale lanu viole.
Ete lona.
Oh, ete lona. Okay.
Fale lanu viola lena. Can it be said like that?
Lanu viole lena. So this kind of means something completely different. And actually, we're gonna get to this part. I'll just say no, because if I'll just read it word for word, just to answer your question. But this right here is ete, means you, and this is actually like it's this is a pronoun with the te tense marker. So it's like you, and then your I'm sorry, his or her purple that. So you, his, purple that. So yeah. So we're gonna get to that. I don't forget.
Oh no, I actually meant to put fale in front of lanu viola.
Oh, okay.
Lana fale lanu viola.
Okay.
Would it be correct? Just a quick one. Would it be correct instead of using ete, would it be like iete? Would that make sense or no?
No, only because there's no reason to say like yete or nate or ete. Like we wouldn't have a reason to say te here, but we're gonna get to te today, probably, if not definitely on Tuesday.
Right,
But yeah, malo. But yeah, so it wouldn't be that, but yeah, you're right on with the rest of it. Well, Lena would be that, but we'll get to this part. We'll get to that. So we could say this, and then okay, yeah, and then the other way to say it, or oops. We could just say Olona Pale, oops, Pale. Well, I'll say Lanu Viole. Yeah, just simple, just simple like that. So her house, it is her, and then purple house. It is her purple house. This. So we remember, if we're gonna say Lea, we can put the Lea after that. So this is one way to say it. Olona fale lanu violilea. This is her purple house, or we could say olene mea olona fale lanu viole. So either way. All right, his cheap cars are inside of the garage. His cheap cars are inside of the garage. This one is a little bit has one element we didn't kind of talk about yet, but anyone have this one? Oops. What the Okay, so we start with our O, and then how do we say his cheap cars?
Ka'avale kangofie.
Yep, ka'avale kangofie. So this is just cars cheap. But then if we want to say his cheap cars, his cheap cars. Yep, Leshan, that's one way. I'll say it after this one right here. So we have to add Anna. Yeah, Anna. Yep. So we just add a Anna. So Oana. So if we were to say Lana, that would be his singular. His singular. Right. If we wanted to make it plural, we just drop the L. Okay. And then cars cheap. So his cheap cars. Oana ta'avale tangofie or Oana ka'avale kangofie. Either way. And I'll just go back to the thing because I feel like maybe some people might be lost because we haven't really covered Anna and Onna that much. So this is how we came up with Anna. When there's no it's not singular, so we can't say, we can't add a L. Okay. We're talking about his specific set of cars. So and it's multiple, so it's not an S. And since this is a specific set of cars, this ni is plural, but we're not going to use that because we're being specific. So we just don't say anything for that part. So there's nothing there. All right. And remember, we're talking about his cars. So we're in this row. Cars are a class. So A, and then we just this row and that row goes together. So Anna ta'avale. So that's how we got Oana ta'avale tangofie. Okay, that's how we got that. So let me go back to that. It all went away. So Oana ta'avale tangofie. So his cheap cars are inside of the garage. So how do we say that? How do we say yep, okay, so you more than likely whenever and this was the curveball, this is the new thing. Whenever something is inside of something, like, and it's like right now, what we could say a, but more than likely you probably would hear like people might just say o, but it's just abbreviation for olo'o. So olo'o. And then we would go into, like Leshan said, so tonu o le fale ta'a vale. All right, so inside of the garage. All right, so just, I know all of it together probably looks confusing, but if you just break it down, we learned about this like week 1. So his cars, the only new thing here is that we have Anna. If it was Lana, we would say his cheap car. But since we took away the L, it's Oana. And that makes it multiple cars, his multiple cheap cars. And then Olo'o, right now they are inside Itutonu Olefale Ta'avale. All right. I know this, it's, we're putting together concepts and we're probably moving kind of fast. But if you have questions, I am open this Sunday. So we're gonna have our thing Sunday, and we can just do some review on that. But let's if there's no questions or no out loud questions, we'll just go ahead and move on.
Hey, Will, just a
Um,
quick question.
sure.
So the Olo'o, is that for the R? Does that represent R again
Um,
on that last one? You
right.
said
So yeah, so when he said Olo'o I tutono ole ta'avale, that's yeah, it would that represents R because it's they are currently right now inside of the house. So
okay.
yeah, but like I said, a lot of people would just shorten it to O. So O I tutono ole fale ta'avale. So
Okay.
yeah.
What does that? Just another one. Are you saying that Olo'o is actually? Actually, forget about that. It's okay. I got it. Thank you.
Okay. I'll just so Olo'o is at this very at this very moment right now, happening right now. So but you might hear people say e itutonu ole ta'avale, like you said, Motu. It's not incorrect, but I usually hear people say o itutonu because it's maybe someone asked a question like where are they at? Well, they're right there right now, like they're there right now, even though they're you know eb eb to me would make sense as well. A lot of people just say oh for whatever reason, and o short for olo. All right. So our next okay, yeah. So this is just our chart that we talked about. We did the singular possessives. If this was, hopefully that wasn't too confusing because now we're about to do the plural ones. To me, the plural ones are easier. So I really don't, I never really spend much time on them. There is a formal way to do it, which you're going to see like in a Tusipaia. And I'll just run right through a couple of them real fast. So for example, if we were saying like our, so we're right here. If we were to say our to, we'll stick with house. Okay. House is going to be what class? A class or O class?
O class.
O class. Okay. Yep. O class. And then is it and we're talking about our one house, our singular specific house. So what would that be? It's going to be this right here. So we're just talking about the singular specific house. And then and we'll just say it's us two, nobody else. Yep. And then fale is going to be our noun. So like in the Tusipaia in the Bible, in formal writings, you'll probably see Olo ma fale, our house, because we're talking about is our two, not their house, or Olo ta fale, like it's our house. The conversation is just between us two, nobody is excluded. Olo ta. If we say their house, O lo la fale, O lo la fale. Or if we say there are houses, and then it's just O la fale. We don't say that. If we're gonna say your this right here, there, if we're gonna use this one, um their singular house. O lo lato fale. Okay. I did this one time on Instagram, and like the native speakers of the newer generation, they were like, "There's no such thing. What are you talking about?" So that's why I don't even talk about this. The A and the O, but just know like when you read formal writings, it'll be something like that. Or if it's their car, and it's five people in the household, that'll be ta'avale, you know, but this will be an A. So O la lato ta'avale, right? But it's the way they do it, the younger generation, when it's informal, it's really simple. It's far more simple, and we'll just do it that way. So it's just if we're talking about whether it's a house or a car, doesn't matter. We would just say ole ole tato ta'avale. That is going to be our car. If we're going to say our cars, anyone want to guess what that is? Our multiple cars. Oh,
Favale kako.
close, but very, very close.
Oh, me?
No, that would be some if we did like that.
Oh.
Well, because we're talking about our specific cars, so it wouldn't be ni. There would be nothing there, so we would just yes, you got it. Oh no, not la'u. La'u would be a singular because if we say la'u, that makes it it wouldn't make sense at that point because it'd be oh la'u tato. That'd be like my our. So
Would it be a
no, only because actually I wouldn't be able to explain that because I don't know, but it's just otato ta'avale. That's it. It's so much more simpler this way, and that's how a lot of native speakers speak our cars. So instead of having you guys guess and then like I don't want to confuse anybody. So it doesn't matter if it's like that or if we're gonna say houses. Okay, let's just say our house. So if we say our house, how would we say our singular house? Our house.
Oaofale?
You said Oaufale?
Yeah.
No, because that would be my houses. So this would be like singular. So this goes back to our singular sheet. I would scroll up there, but it might disappear. What we have down here might disappear. So when we're talking about our, it's going to be down here. All right. So this is when the possession belongs to multiple people. That's going to be ma, ta, la, lua, mato, tato, lato, and oto. All right. When we're talking about singular, it's going to be la'u, lo'u, lana, all the ones on the other screen. So on this one, it's just if we're going to say our singular house, then it's going to be ole tato fale. So it's our house. Everybody in the class is more than 3 people, and it's us. So ole tato fale. So it's our house. All right, our house. If it's if we're excluding people, like we're having a conversation, like man, we don't want them in our house. Ole mato fale, like our house. It's one house. It's one house, and then it belongs to us. The singular house of ours, ole tato fale. All right. Now, if we were going to say our houses, so and let's stick with tato because so how would we say this one? Our houses. Otato fale. Yep, otato fale. So this is our houses. This is to me, I think it's so simple because we did it from we went from introducing the the Anna, Lana, and all of the singular ones. And to me, that was so hard first learning it that now when we come to the plural ones, especially doing it this way, we're making it harder than it needs to be. So, and it just takes practice, that's all, because it took me a long time to actually get this. And I was like, wait a minute, this is simpler than learning all of the singular ones but you do need to know these pronouns as long as you know the pronouns. So if we were going to say our we'll stick with car. So our car that belongs to the two of us, not them. So that would be ma. So ole ma ta'avale. Okay. So this is our car. Our car that's just for the two of us. All right. If we're gonna say our cars, like we have it's us two and we have multiple cars. So let's just say it's a married family, you know, husband and wife, they have, you know, cars outside it. Oops, sorry. Oh my Ta'avali, our cars. And again, it just depends on if you're going to be T or A. If you're excluding people, then it's going to be Oma Ta'avale. If you're talking about, you know, us two, and it's only us two in a conversation, Ota Ta'avale. Okay. So it kind of I think the hardest part is just getting used to is it Ma or Ta? But the rest of these, like if it's us two, then it's La. You know, I'm sorry, it's if it's them two, like a possession that belongs to two people, those people over there is la. If it's more than two of them over there, it's gonna be la to. If it's if I'm talking to you, you know, then lua. So how would we say your car, but we're talking about um we're talking to two people. I'm talking to two people, and I'm saying, "How is your car?" Your guys' car. I probably sound really confusing. Your house. I'll write this out. Your car. Your or if you're from America, you probably say something like this. How's y'all's car? Y'all's car that belongs to the two of you. How would we say that?
It'd be like Lua Tabana.
Yep. Olua Tavale. Or well, I'm sorry. Um Ole Lua Valley. And it's led because we're talking about one car. If we're talking about their cars, then it's gonna be
Lua Tabali without the
yep,
le.
yep,
All
exactly.
right, got it. Thanks.
Lua Valley. So hopefully you guys kind of see the pattern there. If it's singular thing that belongs to you know, more than one person, then we put a le, and then you have to make sure that you use the right pronoun with it. If it has multiple things, then you just drop the le. That's it. It's as simple as so you don't have to worry about is it A class, O class, or any of that. It's just if it's one thing that belongs to more than one person, le. If it's multiple things that belong to more than one person, you just have to make sure that you put the right pronoun there. Okay. All right. I know this is new concept, so what I'm gonna do now is just put in the chat some exercises that we have. How do I get to it? So I'll put this back in the chat right now. So this is the singular possessive pronouns, and it has the answers at the bottom. You know, so you can practice that. So that's in there. And then we have some other ones too. Okay, no, we have a worksheet. So we're gonna do this worksheet together. That might help. All right. So when we say do you have, that's it's sort of its own sentence structure. And I do think that I have a slide for this. Yeah, I do. So AI. So when someone says, "Do you have this?" or "You have that," the possessive pronouns that we just learned goes right there. We start off with our tense marker is right? That's our habitual tense marker. EI is to have. You might see it spelled, you know, separated like that, EI, or just all together, like I. So AI, and then you put your possessive pronoun right there. So that would be lau, or more than likely it'll be sa'u. So remember the S, that's when it's indefinite. So with a lot of questions, if I'm asking like, do you have a pen? I don't know if you have a pen or not. I just want one. I don't care which one it is. If I'm asking about a specific pen, then I would say la upeni. I'm sorry, la upeni, your pen, la upeni. But if I'm asking, you know, do you have a pen? Then I would say sao, ei sao pen. AI sao penny. So let me write. So it's non-specific. I don't care what pen you got. I just want one if you have one. And the pen is going to be A class. So sao. This is not the sao like come here sao. This is the limiter sao or the possessive pronoun sao. So let's go back to down here. So when someone asks you a question and they say yai sao penny. So here's the format: AI, possessive pronoun, and then whatever your noun is, whatever you're asking about. So, but you have to make sure that you have your possessive pronoun right. So that's why we just finished learning that. Do you have a pen? Do you have a pen? So AI sao pen. AI nialato facili. Okay, so this is do they have some questions? So lato is gonna be them, multiple them, and then remember ni is some. Okay, so ni is, oh, I'm sorry. So lato, we're talking about them or their. Okay, so ni is some, and then the questions are gonna be A class. So ni a lato, ni a lato. Yeah, I know this is yeah. Come Sunday if it's really throwing you off, just come Sunday. Again, it's just they're new concepts. So we don't do any of this stuff in English, so I know it throws people off. So AI ni a lato facili. AI ni lato facili. Do they have some questions? All right. So with questions again, instead of hearing lao and lau and lana and all of that, you're gonna hear the S that replaces the L with the singular. And then when we're talking about plural things, we'll hear ni. So like ni ya and ni o, um, with the A class and the O class. So let's do an activity together. This might because you're gonna hear these kind of questions a lot. So Vasily, this is the question. Tali is the answer. So someone asks you, AI sao, and then we have penny or penny. All right. So what does that say? AI sao penny. In English, if we were to translate.
Do you have a pen?
Yes. Do you have a singular pen? Exactly. Because we have the S there, and that's the singular pen. So someone says Iyoi, yai, and then what will we say right here in these two blanks? Iyoi, yes. Yai, have, and then I'm talking about I have. It actually could be two things. You could either say, yai sao pen. Yep, yai sao penny. So yeah, I have a pen. Sao. So up here we said, um, this right here means your. Do you have your pen? Do you have a pen of yours? So when they answer back, the tali, ioi, ai sao pen. Or if I hold up and I say, yeah, here's my specific pen, or you know, I have a pen. Here's the pen. Then how would I change this one if I wanted to be just saying specific? Oops. Lau, exactly. So that's it. It's lau. So ai sao pen. Yoi, ai sao pen. So I'm asking, do you have your pen? You have your pen. Yoi, I have my pen. My pen. Or if I wanted to be specific, I would say ai lau pen. Like I have my pen. So either way is fine. Lau or but either one. Let's do another one. Api. Api means, anyone know api? Oops. There we go. Api is a notebook. So that's a notebook. So how would we say what goes right here? Eyay sao? Api. Yep. Eyay sao api. And then oletali. Iyoi. Eyay. Yep. Eyay la uapi. Or sa'u, either one. More than likely, people will say sa'u, they'll just repeat it, sa'u api. Yeah, I got a notebook, I got one. Eyay sa'u api. Or eyay la'u api. Like I have my, if we're gonna say la'u, then we're just being more specific. That's all. So that's pretty much what the exercise is. Let's do a little bit. This one down here is a little bit different. So how will we do this one? This is a typo. That shouldn't be right there. Not la'u. So if you download this, don't worry about that middle word. Fale. How will we do this one? How will we phrase this right here? Eyay, and then there's a blank in the middle. Yep, eyay yep. So it's an O class. And I see someone said so'u. It wouldn't be so'u unless you're asking yourself a question like, do I have my house? Or maybe you're asking them like, yeah, so but if you're asking somebody else, like, do you have a house? I'm being, non-specific because you've been over here all day, like, hey, I so file it. Like, do you have a house? Hey, I so file it. And we say so because fale is an O class thing. It's an O class. So we would say AI so fale. And then oletali, ioi, AI, and then how do we fill that out? AI, dun, dun, dun. So'u, AI so fale. Ioi, AI so fale. Yeah, I got a house. Or AI lo fale. Like I have, my singular specific house. Here I'm just saying, yeah, I got a house. So either way, lo'u or so'u, it doesn't matter. But hopefully you can see the slight contextual difference between lo'u and so'u when we say that. So if you got any questions on that, just let me know, or you can hang after if you're confused by all of this stuff. Everything we're talking about today are actually new concepts, so I can understand if people are kind of thrown off. And we actually have more new stuff, so we got to keep going with some more new stuff, or we can go through this whole worksheet if you guys want to. Let me see. All right, let's go back to our PowerPoint and see what we got next. All right, so we did our worksheets. So now we're introducing something else. Just when you learn tense, action, subject, location, and time, now we're changing it up just a little bit, and we're going to put the subject in front of our action. So instead of tense, action, subject, we're going tense, subject, action. Okay. Which is sometimes I would have people say during the class when we first started, like, isn't there another way to say it? More than likely you were talking about this, because this is mainly the way people would speak. But if there's a reason why we did it, we're just now talking about it. So the first thing we need to know is our pronouns. So hopefully you guys know this: I, au, oi, you, oia, him, her, or it, I maua, us two, I taua, also us two, but it's a exclusionary is maua, taua is gonna be just us two, olua, y'all, you two, I laua, them two, okay, I ma'ua, or that should be mato, I mato. Oh, it kind of cut off. So I mato, I itato, I lato, them, like them three or more, and then oto, like you all three or more. This is a bad slide. So let's just go right into preverb pronouns are used when the subject is stated before the action. So we already established that. So here's our action, right? Before the tense and the action were together, right? Sa alu, na tamoe, uatangi, and stuff like that. But now we're putting our subject before the action. And there's a way to say the subject after the action, like au and oi and oia. But now there's also a way to say the subject when you put the subject before the action, there's a different way to say it. So au is after the action. Before the action is going to be o. Before the action, you is going to be e instead of oi, which you say after. So all of these over here are going to be how we say it before the action, right? Again, new concept. We were on Tuesday, we're going to do complete review once again, in case everyone is confused. So we would not say, okay, here's tense, subject, action, or fi'alu altogether is an action. And then our location is ile fale oloa ananafi. Ananafi is going to be our time. All right. The problem with this right here, the only time the subject, and this is important, this is key. The only time the subject is going to come before the action is if it's a pronoun. We would not say na letene fi alu ile fale olo ananafi, because letene is a common noun. Letene, letama, uso, nothing like that is going to come before the action. It has to be a pronoun. And it has to be one of these kind of pronouns, the ones that come before the action. O, e, ia, na, or na is going to be for something else. For now, just worry about ia, ma, ta, lua, la, mato, tato, lato, and so forth. All right. The correct way to say that, if we're going to use a common noun, it has to go after. Common nouns have to go after the action, which we've been talking about the whole time. So nafi alu letene ilifale olo ananafi. So the common noun goes after, but whenever we have a okay. Also, if you want to, we can also state it with a pronoun after. And we already know this part. So we say na past tense wants to go, oia. So the girl wanted to go to the store yesterday. So na fi'alu oia ilefale oloa ananafi. So tense, action, subject, location, time. We've learned this part already. But the new way, the way that we're learning today, if we're going to take the oia and we're going to say it before the action. So tense, then our subject, then our action. All of this is our location. Or until we get to ananafi, that's our time. Okay. Naya fialu le fale oloa ananafi. All right. So ia is how we say him, her, or it before the action. So, and if you're ever confused, you just look at the chart. How do we say that? Okay. Ia. Na is for te. So when we get to te, which is I forgot, that might have been Motu's question or statement earlier. We would use na, but for right now it's ia. All right. So again, just real fast, when is the only time we would use this right here? What it can't be a common noun, it has to be a pronoun. The subject has to be a pronoun if we're going to use it like that. Okay. So, okay, I already said TSAR pronouns are used to emphasize the action, not the doer. Okay. So the doer of the action, remember before when we would say something like he closed the door. Let's see. So he closed the door. Okay, so we would say na tapunia ele or I'll say oia le fai toa. All right, so we have past tense closed. So closed by oia. So that's who did the action, right? And then the door. So he closed the door. The other way to say that, the doer of the action, we can put up here. So na ia tapu nia, and then le fai toa. Okay, so this is our doer of the action. So whenever it's a pronoun and they're doing the action, na ia tapu nia. So past tense, he closed the door. He closed the door. So most of the time, people are going to say it this way. So, na ia tapunia le fai toa. Okay. Typical conversations that do not emphasize the doer use the T-SOT format.
Will, just a quick question.
Uh-huh.
So the like on the first not to punia, yeah, you don't need the A, you don't need the E in the second part because the pronoun is coming before the action in that case. Correct?
Right. So yeah, and the e up here is brilliant because we have two subjects back to back. So we don't know who's doing the action, right? But when we separate them with the action, now we know who's doing the action. So we don't need the e. We don't have to say na e ia. We don't have to say that. We just say na ia tapunia le faitutoa, because here's the doer of the action. Whereas over here we have two subjects. Who did it? Okay, now we know who did it. We just say eh. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. All right, what's our next? Okay, so these are just examples. And I guess we don't really have time to go through them. Well, I'll just read them. So ole a oalu ile fale mai ile nei po. So I'll just mark them out. So this is our tense. O is what pronoun is that as I mark these out?
I.
Exactly. And then our location is all of this. And then our time is ilene po. So tense, subject, action, location, and then our time. Anyone knows what this says by chance? So we know
Yeah.
I.
So I'm going to the hospital
Yep. Palemai is the hospital.
this night.
Yep.
Or
This
tonight.
night. Tonight. Yep. I'm going to the hospital tonight. Well, don't put that in. I don't want to put that in there. So, so I'm going to the hospital tonight. I guess we'll do this slide and we'll stop. So we have tense, subject, talanoatu is going to be our action. All of that is together. I don't think we talked about atu and mai and stuff, but we'll get to that. And then ya Jackie, and then ananafi. Anyone know this one? It's going to be past tense, and then is are you. Talanoatu is like to speak or to have conversation to somebody. And then who we having it with is ya Jackie, and then Ananafi. So you spoke to Jackie last night. Na e talanoatu ya Jackie Ananafi. All right. Tense, olo'o. And then we're talking about him, her, or it, ia. Tense, subject. Someone says something here. Where is the you? Okay. Oh, the you is right here. The e. So this is our you in this one. And is used a lot, so I know this is that confuses some people, but before the action, I'm sorry, you before the action is after the action is oi. Remember the OE? So, but since we're using it before the action is all right. So olo'o, ia tu, and then that's our action. Iluma, this is our location. Olefale. Anyone knows what this one says? We got 30 seconds.
He sits in front of the house.
Yep. So he is standing in front of the house. Olo'o ia tu iluma olefale. So standing, or present tense, and then we have him. This is our subject, and then in front of, or I'm sorry, standing is our action is tu, and then iluma is in front of the house. Olo'o ia tu iluma olefale. I know, guys, we had all new concepts today. Please don't feel frustrated. Sunday I'll be here 1 o'clock. I don't have anything going on. So 1 o'clock my time. So that's 11 o'clock California time. Most of you guys are from there. If you're in, you just have to figure out what time that is for you specifically, but I'll be here. So, you don't feel lost. Yep. And that's it for now. If you have questions, I'll be here. After Malo, Favtai.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ela faina.